Hey guys, I want to do some brainstorming today with regards to helping you to stop masturbating to pornography so you can break that negative habit addiction. It's pretty much a negative habit, right? Same thing. So I wrote a list of different approaches here because I think quitting porn addiction is like a lot of fears. It's not always straightforward. I mean, it can be depending on who you are, but for most part, it's not an easy thing to do. So not one approach, is going to work for every single person. Everyone's different. So I've come up with a list of different things here. They're all things that I've personally done and tried, and they've worked for me, and I'm confident they can work for you. By the way, as well, if you enjoy these videos, please like, share, subscribe, and comment. I just want to make a point of saying someone said on my social media that I should improve the quality of my videos because it would help me to get a bigger following and it would help me to sell what I'm doing and stuff. But I just want to make a point of saying at the moment I'm not selling anything. I don't care about the money or trying to sell anything for the reason that I'm not working at the moment. I'm not employed. So I'm doing these videos. Well, number one is because I love doing the videos. I enjoy the videos, always have. Number two, I like helping people. If anything, I think it's the right thing to do. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel valued. It gives me something to do. So I appreciate what you're saying, but when I eventually do return back to work and I do start coaching, then I'll have that mindset as well of I'm selling. But at the moment, that's not even coming to my mind. So I do appreciate you saying that. It didn't upset me, but I'm just responding. And to be honest, I have improved my content. It's massively improved from what it was before. I've got a professional camera. As far as I'm concerned, I'm very happy with it. People have noticed the audio is great. Visually, it's great. The shot's great. But obviously, everyone's entitled to their opinion. But yeah, I did appreciate it though. I do appreciate people's feedback. And as I said, when I'm teaching again and working full time. But to be honest, I probably won't even change much even when I start working again and teaching, because I just be myself and just help people and stuff. But I see where you're coming from. But yeah, at the moment I don't get paid any money to do any of this stuff. I'm not sponsored. I don't ask for donations. Quite frankly, I don't want it. I'm all right as I am. As I said, when I return and start teaching, then obviously I'm going to get paid like I've been really well paid in the past. Right, so some things here. So first thing that comes to mind with me with pornography is funny. Jordan Peterson has said a lot of things that I've said, and I didn't know he said these things because, to be honest, I didn't really follow his work when he first came out. We know when he really took off. I was aware of him. And I liked him as a person. I just liked him. He seemed like a good person, but I didn't really follow his stuff at the time. I was going through a lot of things myself. But I've started to look back at some of his content from 3 years ago, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's really weird that he said a lot of pretty much identical things that I've said. And it's nice when you can relate to. It's nice when anybody, regardless of who they are, has said something that you've said or you've realised or learned and gave your experience to others. And what he said about pornography was what I said. He said, porn's not really the problem, per se. The problem is people are not happy in their lives and they need to find a way of changing their lives and setting new goals and creating a vision and being accountable and building some self-esteem and and looking after yourself, more self-love. And that's exactly the conclusion that I've come to, and you've probably heard me say it on many of the videos. I might have repeated it quite a lot because it needs to be repeated. So I totally agree with him on that. You should also look at his content. If you enjoy my stuff, you probably would enjoy his, but most of you probably watch Jordan Peterson stuff anyway. You're fans, but he's got great teachings. They're very practical. I can tell. Obviously, he's a lot older than me. He's got a lot more experience than I have, right? I always respect my elders. Always have, since I was a kid. So I was brought up. So you know, I can tell from the things he says that he's lived these things and he's helped other people. So it's not theory, it's real practical, congruent, solid, concrete advice that can really help people. So these are some of the things I've written, you know, change my daily habits to create happiness, and I'll explain what I mean by that. You know, when you get into a rut, and usually porn addiction connects with being in a rut, when you're in a negative predicament, you tend to do the same things every day because you're fearful, you're anxious, you're depressed, you're not motivated. So even little things like you might tend to eat similar food every day, you might tend to walk the same way, you might tend to listen to the same music, watch the same type of content, you know, certain little habits and patterns that we're not always aware of, and they make a difference, you know, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to be happy, and that's really what these videos are about. I'm not really making videos just on porn addiction, right? I don't like porn, it's negative, I don't really want to speak about it, but it is something that gets in the way. And I've been watching a few videos lately, and I didn't realise, it made me realise, another expert said, you know, most of the internet was built, I can't say word for word what he said, but he basically said, you know, the whole internet age came from kind of pornography. You know, everyone was looking at pornography, and obviously they can measure the analytics. The people that obviously run all these platforms and are in charge, they can see what people are viewing, and pornography is something that has always been very high traffic and very high during the lockdown, right? So it's figuring out how to break out of that addiction. And there's, like I said, so I always think making little changes is actually making big changes. So I'll leave you guys with that, see if that helps. I believe in setting short-term goals and long-term goals. I'll explain why. Sometimes setting long-term goals is very overwhelming, and it can actually make you feel depressed. It can kind of, it's a contradiction, because obviously goal setting is about, you know, setting goals to give you a purpose and a vision and accountability and something to aim for, right? And that can really give you a sense of happiness, but not always. It can backfire in regards to, if you're in a bad place in your life and you're hooked on pornography and you're struggling and you're going through all types of you know, psychological challenges and stuff like that. Sometimes setting long goals could make you feel depressed because you're thinking that's going to be so long till I get to that point, and that can make you feel awful in the moment. So I think when you set little goals and long-term goals, the little goals, they keep you going. They give you some happiness in the now, and they give you some happiness for the future, for tomorrow. And if you can achieve little goals, it always gives you confidence, or certainly more confidence, to go on and think, right, I've achieved these little goals. I've got a sense that I can probably have a better shot achieving long-term goals. So just give you an example. If someone wanted to get a relationship with a woman, a girlfriend, but that felt too overwhelming and didn't feel realistic for you right now, you could set a short-term goal, and that could be to set up an online dating account, or join an online dating account. You know, get a nice picture of yourself as best as you can, where you look good, a professional picture, you know, and obviously create a bio about yourself and your interest, and just you know, just join the site and just see what happens. You could do that in a day, and that's a short-term goal. You could write that down, and if you did that and you achieve that, then you could go on to obviously sending messages, and then you don't know what could happen. You could meet the love of your life, right? So that's an example of how I personally use short-term planning to achieve long-term bigger goals. And becoming globally successful several years ago, for me, it would never have happened if I didn't set short-term goals. My short-term goal with YouTube was just to do a bit of comedy. I was into comedy and having fun. And a lot of my videos were like social experiments, where I was going out and talking to people on the street and just having fun, and, you know, basically kind of like self-deprecating with myself. But it come from a good place, you know, it didn't come from a place of going out to upset people, and most of the people reacted really well. And, you know, just to kind of test myself, and I didn't even know what was going to come from it, right? It felt like the right thing to the time. I didn't realise that was going to give me a lot of confidence to speak on the camera. I never knew I was going to be able to do that, because I was so shy and had a lot of low self-esteem growing up and confidence issues, and definitely at periods addicted to porn. So when I started getting a great reaction and getting a following, it made me make more serious videos, videos, I guess, with more integrity, more videos on helping people get over anxiety, social anxiety, fear, shyness. I started talking about a lot of the issues that men struggle with, maybe that a lot of men didn't feel comfortable speaking openly about, and people appreciated that. So the little goal gave me the confidence, and then eventually when I built up a following, I remember getting to a point thinking, I'm going to have to meet these people at some point. I don't just want to have a big fan base of people that follow me online, but they don't know me in person. Obviously I couldn't meet everyone, but I at least wanted to meet some of the fans. So I started doing seminars where people could obviously come and meet me in person and spend half a day or a whole day. Some of the seminars I did, most of them were free. Some of them I charged. 80% of the time I didn't charge, they were completely free. And they were brilliant. I got to meet people in real life. But I could never have done that when I was at my worst depression at 25. I was totally addicted to porn. I didn't have a girlfriend. I had no money. I had no direction in life. I was living in a small bedsit, very depressed. If someone said to me, well, you're going to go in a room and you're going to do public speaking, you're going to inspire people and you fill out rooms, and I would have felt terrified, and I wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't have believed anyone. I would have thought they were crazy. But back to my point, it was the little goals that got me there, and I've seen that with a lot of successful people. Even Jordan Peterson. I remember when I first started seeing his videos, I remember thinking, who's this guy? Who's this guy talking about social anxiety in front of because I noticed his videos, I was like, he's in a classroom, so he's a school teacher, and I've never seen a school teacher talk about things that I agree on, that I've spoke about or I want to speak about, and I've never seen a school teacher really get so passionate about beating social anxiety. It really got my attention. And then all of a sudden I see him doing video on, dating, and he was doing videos and speaking about things that I felt needed to be spoken about. And all of a sudden I start seeing more of these videos and hearing more of this Jordan Peterson guy. And then someone else would say, have you seen Jordan Peterson? And then I saw his transformation, or I saw him go from not being known to making it on the internet, and obviously going viral now. I saw that, and that was a gradual thing for Jordan Peterson. I remember him saying, so you have to realise that overcoming the porn addiction is going to be a gradual thing, more than likely, and you getting your life on track is going to be a gradual thing. So in the meantime, we need anyone who says they don't believe in setting short-term goals, I personally think they're out of their mind, because I think it just doesn't work for everyone. Some people it works for, but saying if you're depressed right now and you're suffering bad, thinking about what you're going to do in the next 5-10 years, that can make you feel terrible. But if I said think about what we're going to do in the next hour or what we're going to do tomorrow, that gives you a sense of hope and confidence, and then once you get into accomplishing small goals, then you can start really building momentum, building your state, and reaching the long-term goals. So long-term goals are not bad, they're brilliant, but I made my point. I think you guys understood it. Just setting long-term goals can really just mess you up, and a lot of people won't even achieve them. They'll just give up, procrastinate. So that's really important. How are you doing for time? Right, I think this is really important. Find a way to help others, so you can feel more valued in society. And again, something that I did for many, many years, didn't consciously think about doing it at that time. I think at that time I was intelligent, but obviously I was, in my 20s, I hadn't got all the experience I've got now. So helping people for me was something that I was always brought up to do. Obviously you couldn't help everyone, but it was always, it was just the values that my parents practiced growing up. Little things like if the neighbours were struggling and they didn't have any food, my mum would give them some bread or some food, or maybe give them £10 to help them out. And sometimes I remember the neighbours would do the same for us. So you see these things growing up, they're great values. Or maybe I'd overhear my mum saying, oh, she thought my dad done a nice deed, he gave some money to a homeless person, or all these little things. That this is just the culture that I grew up in, that I liked. And at school, if someone was getting bullied, and you could stop it, then you would intervene and stop it, and sometimes risk your own liberty. I'd risk my own getting a beating and getting bullied to stop a weaker kid, in the sense of someone who's more vulnerable and he wasn't capable of standing up for himself, and too scared to tell the teachers. So I'd intervene and say, leave him alone, I stop bullying him. So it's growing up with that gave me these values. And then obviously when I started teaching, I became an entrepreneur. I didn't know that that's like one of the core values and the core essence of being a very good entrepreneur. It's not just obviously about making a lot of money. That is a big part of it, but it's about helping people, solving people's problems, and feeling good about doing it, right? So I think if you find a way to help people, guys and girls, I know it sounds like it's completely over here, but it will help you to beat your porn addiction. There's no doubt about it, because there's some aspect of us when we watch porn and we do these negative things that doesn't feel good enough, or doesn't feel valued enough, or doesn't feel important, or doesn't feel like they've got anything to offer or give to the world. So when you start helping people in the smallest ways, it really does ignite that confidence, self-esteem, whatever you want to call it. The names that we use, all kind of really the same thing. You feel loved, and it's obviously a good thing to do, right? That's really important. So an example of how you can do that: you can go into a shop and buy a homeless person some food when you can see that they're hungry, right? And that's not the only example. You can have a phone call with someone who might be lonely and needs someone to talk to. You can help your mum out. You can carry bags for someone. You can help someone move. Any act of kindness, right? And of course, when you do it, you don't really want to, tell the person that they owe you something back. That's not really the right way of doing things, right? Obviously, if you're an entrepreneur, then of course there's a time when you charge money, but this is not really about doing nice things to get money. This is more about just doing it for nothing, for doing it because it's a good thing to do, right? Another thing, start a new fitness regime. I think a lot of people probably don't even have a fitness regime or any kind of thing to work out. I've said it before on the channel. I could do a whole live stream, a 3-hour video on how important fitness is and training, and how that can help you to get the strengthen your integrity, your happiness, your self-esteem to quit porn. It's just another great way, right? We'll leave it short on that. I don't want to overrun the video. Change your diet. Massively important. Food really does affect the way you feel. And I think the core thing I'm trying to get to here is, if you've got the discipline to change even a small thing in your life, that can lead on to changing the bigger things. And change builds confidence. Change your fashion, so important again, right? Again, it's not about being materialistic, it's just, changing things up. Start dating and look for a long-term relationship. Probably the most important thing, if I could circle that in writing, one of the most important advice. I know it's hard now because we're in lockdown, right? But I'm giving this advice kind of for the long term and the short term. So that would be probably the best solution. Jordan Peterson said the same thing. Within all these things, you really want to focus on dating and finding a long-term relationship. But again, that can sometimes take time. So again, just starting dating would be a big deal. And being social, I wrote that here. I actually wrote in brackets. Where is it? I wrote it. I think I wrote. Why did it go away? Well, I wrote, be more social than you are, right? Because being social is so important. Yeah, be way more social than I'm currently being, than you're currently being. The social aspect is probably, that's where the healing is. Relationship building, socializing. You want to start doing that. Obviously, facing your fears. All these things are. Start being more organized and more accountable in your life. So plan things a little bit more as well in your day. Plan things that you need to do, whether it's around the house, whether it's responsibilities, work, uni, things that you need to do, appointments, doctor's appointments, dentist appointments. Get in the habit of facing things and doing things. It makes you feel great. Start to look at your negative thoughts and emotions and do something positive with them. What I mean by that, basically, and a lot of artists, what am I talking about? All artists do this, so I've been doing it for years. If you can take your negative emotions and your negative thoughts and actually use all of that energy, use all those emotions, put those emotions into making a song, an album, writing a book, making a video, doing a talk, playing video games, doing some sports, you basically got to transfer or transform, same word, that energy, and that is an incredible thing for beating porn addiction. Yeah, don't be afraid to ask for outside help. Very, very important. I got help loads of times along the way, and you know, help making these videos to help all of you really helps me as well. Find a community of like-minded people. That might sound intimidating, but that's basically what most of you have done finding my channel. Everyone on this channel has got something in common. To start with, we've all suffered with anxiety, social anxiety, depression, and we're all interested in self-improvement, building confidence, and a lot of other things we talk about in this channel, like boxing, sports, better living, movies, and stuff like that. So I think I'll end on that. There's a lot you can take, and don't feel like, oh my God, that's so much stuff that Johnny said. You don't have to do everything I've said. It might just be one thing off that entire list that will change your life, or it might be several. But if you want to do all of them, then watch the video back and, you know, do all of them. So yeah, in order to beat a porn addiction, you've got to change your habits. You've got to do that by, you know, taking different action and changing up things, your diet, you know, the way that you go about things, where you walk, where you exercise, and so all those different things, and then it will get easier. And I think when you do all these things, you put yourself in a better position to attract someone. So yeah, all right. So that's it. Make sure you subscribe, become fearless. Please don't be nervous or afraid to ask me in the box below to make another video. The worst I'll say, I'm not going to reject you. I'll only say no if it doesn't feel right for me, and I think it's if it breaches my integrity, then I'm going to say no. But I'm probably going to say yes if it's a video that I think is important and I can help you with it. I'll make the video, or someone else in the chat might be able to give you advice. I'm not the only one on the channel who can give you advice. There's loads of intelligent people. And don't forget to join my free live streams. I usually do them, we usually do them on a Saturday, but I do sometimes mix it up, where you can come and ask questions, have a conversation, all right? Appreciate all of your support. Honestly, doing these videos throughout the lockdown has really helped me, you know, to deal with being unemployed at the moment, single, living on my own, all those challenges. It's really helped me. It's I don't think it would be a lot harder for me to cope with a lockdown if I didn't have the channel and I weren't able to have the conversations and help you and do the videos. All right, become fearless.